Hey everyone, Scott Cunningham, aka Scottsy Business here, and today I want to talk to you guys about how to monetize really anything with cryptocurrency, but specifically in my situation, it's monetizing your personal finance. The whole idea here is that anything that you do that might be useful to share with other people that you're already doing, you could potentially make blogs out of or video content out of, or something that you could monetize and also share with the world that will benefit you and others. A great example of this is me. I do budgeting and I track everything I spend, and I try to be a financial minimalist and do the best I can with my personal finances. And while I am not an expert, me sharing that content with people earns me money. I'm already doing this, but I can then present it and create content from it. So for example, either today or tomorrow or sometime this week, I'm going to be releasing a full comprehensive look into just my budget and what I spend. I'm also going to be recording a earnings and social media report for what I did last month. I track my earnings and I track how I do on social media, and that's just for me and to have in a report. But I can then present it and create content. And it's also very inspiring for people, and it's transparent. So not only am I making money by saving money, budgeting, then I get to monetize that, and I'm making money from saving money. And again, this is just an example, but you could do this with anything, right? You don't have to be a famous person for people to be curious as to what other people are doing with their budget. What you have to be is willing to forego your privacy and share all that stuff verbatim, because people really like the transparency, but you got to give that up. The whole idea here is that you're giving up some of your privacy, and then you're able to monetize the content from that. So I'm giving up some of my financial privacy in order to monetize that content, provide value for other people. And I'm already doing this so I can make better use of my time by then getting paid for this, right? It's like I'm getting paid to save money. That is really, really interesting that you can apply this to anything, right? You mow the lawn and you think you have a very good strategy of mowing the lawn. You could videotape yourself mowing the lawn, which is a completely, menial task that you would never be able to get money from, but you videotape it and you show someone, you put it on library, whatever, and then now you're making money for something that you had to do or you were already doing. Again, say you like playing a certain sport and you videotape that and you just put it up. You weren't getting paid before. You weren't a professional athlete, but now you're making money from sharing that. There's an infinite amount of ways that you can come up with ways to create content from things you're already doing and thus monetizing it. I think the potential is endless, and I think it's so interesting that you could get paid to do the things that you're already doing just by sharing them with others. So again, you do have to forego privacy to do this, right? Like you have to be okay with people watching you play said sport or sharing your personal finances or whatever you happen to do. You've got to give up some privacy for that. But in turn, you get the benefit of being able to monetize. So it really depends what you're looking for. I mean, if you're all about privacy, then maybe this isn't for you. But if you're like, look, privacy isn't that important if I can get paid for it, right? Like I'm already doing this stuff, I can get paid for it. And I wouldn't necessarily say that you're losing privacy in terms of like, your personal life and people know things about you that they shouldn't. You can obviously decide what you include. You are the editor. You could blur things out. You can do whatever you want. But the more transparency, the more people appreciate that, because if you're willing to just fully show everything, people are like, wow, this person is really giving me everything and they're not holding anything back for themselves, to benefit themselves. they're giving me all the information, and now all I have to do is take this information and do what they did. Whereas in most cases, you follow someone who invests or whatever, they'll show you great wins and different things like that. It's much more beneficial for the average person to see the losses, to see where you might be screwing up, and you acknowledge, well, yeah, I could do better here, because it's much more human, right? They don't want to see this super investor who doesn't do anything wrong, and he's perfect, and he saves everything, and doesn't spend on anything ever. And it's like, that's not realistic. No one can relate to that. So I think having the full transparency and showing everything is much more realistic, and people can actually relate, because they're like, okay, that's a real person. No one is perfect, right? So I also track my dividends, all of my expenses. I do a lot of things that I track, and I share all of it, and it creates a wealth of content. And even just for people who have trouble with coming up with content, I have all this content that is just automatic, right? Every 2 weeks, I have a automatic, just free dividend update content, because I'm doing this stuff anyways. Every month, I've got content. I could probably break this down if I wanted to do a report for every week. This could just be about sharing reports. I wouldn't have to create any original content. That is pretty crazy. This isn't even new, right? Gary Vee, a lot of people have been talking about this for years, about documenting. Document what is already there, and you can share that with the world, and it could provide value for people. As long as you're trying to make it provide value in some way, you could probably bring value to other people in some way, whether it's entertainment or education. I think it's much easier to document and provide education. But if you've got the right skills, you could definitely do that with entertainment as well. So I think this is really, really important. And, though I've talked about this stuff before, I wanted to zero in on the idea of being able to monetize stuff that you're already doing, right? Me getting paid to budget and to save stuff that might even be something that you want to avoid, but now you're getting paid to do it, and you're helping provide value for people, and that's extremely fulfilling. So now I don't approach budgeting with like, oh, I have to do this budgeting. It's like, first I approach it with like, wow, I'm going to save all this money. This is going to be great. And I can provide value to people, and I'm going to get paid for doing this. So I think it just creates this whole wealth of opportunity, and a lot of people should really think about this and see, maybe how could I take advantage and do something like this for myself. And anyone can share their journey, whether it's a financial journey or weight loss, or think of whatever. And if you're interested in it, there's other people who are interested in it too. So you can find ways to monetize your content and get paid for it. You don't have to be a content creator to do it. You could literally take verbatim video from a cell phone and upload it. Might not be perfect. I'm sure there's editors on cell phones too that you can just download for free. There's always solutions out there, and people can take advantage, and I highly recommend you do, because the more people who are trying to provide value to people, even through documentation and simple things, it's helpful for everyone to get involved. And, if everyone was sharing how they budgeted, we'd have a much more comprehensive look at everything that's available, and it would give everyone else a lot more insight and just, knowledge for what they might be able to do for themselves. So with that being said, that is everything for today. Let me know, how do you guys monetize content? Are you planning on sharing anything like what I've been talking about? Has this changed your mind or inspired you to maybe share something that you weren't before? What are your thoughts on privacy and how that relates to monetization? And is that a fair trade? Let me know what you think in the comments below. Thanks so much for watching up to this point. Since you did, it would be awesome if you could give this video a like, and if you could comment down below #1ham. That way I know that you watched the full video. Also, it would be great if you guys could follow me, subscribe to my channel. You can follow me and find me everywhere under @ScottCBusiness. And also, sharing this video makes a huge impact. If you'd like to support me more directly, you can donate to scottcbusiness.crypto or scottcbusiness.eth. And that covers a lot of my main addresses for Bitcoin Cash, Ethereum, Bitcoin, Litecoin, and Ripple. As always, I'm Scott Cunningham, aka Scottsy Business, signing off. Cheers.